What's going on, people? This is a video that one of my cousins posted on Facebook. I'm going to play this video and then I'm going to give my opinion on this because this makes no sense at all. What Black Lives Matter is doing is desensitizing the military. They're desensitizing the National Guard. They're making the National Guard to be like local law enforcement. You ever wonder why it's so easy for law enforcement to gun down young black males without second thought and appear to feel no kind of remorse? Check out this video and then I'm going to talk about it briefly.
You don't even respond. Back in the day, somebody getting this close to your face and fall for that? That's basically what you start breathing, you got your hands together, you want to get peace. You want to punch me right now, don't you? You want me to get out your face, don't you? But you can't do shit. You can't do shit until Chief tell you. Your daddy tell you. Your dad tell you. Your daddy tell you to do something. Daddy? He said, take your clip out your gun because you can't do shit. You took it out. They said, put them up on the first. My name looks like no target. That's what you listen like.
Okay, I'm going to stop it right there, but this is why law enforcement has become so desensitized. And the only thing they're doing is desensitizing the military. Now, what these young boys are doing, what they're doing is nothing compared to what the military had to endure in basic training. Now, when I was active duty, things have changed a whole lot since then. What we had to endure during basic training, the modern military, they changed a lot since I've been in, right? So they get away with a lot now. They get away with a lot more than what we had to endure when I was in the service. And drill sergeants got in your face. They talked about your mama. They sprayed in your face. In other words, when they're yelling and talking, you feel that spit come out of their mouth in your face, and you had to stand at attention and you couldn't do nothing. You had some situations where you had dudes that were slapped by the drill sergeant and they had to stand there and do nothing. Remember the movie Full Metal Jacket? That's how basic training was when I was in. But from what I'm told, it's a lot different now. There's things that they did back then that you can't do now. And the reason why they did those things was to prepare you for situations like this. Or prepare you for a situation if you're taken hostage, right? So that if you're in a situation where you don't fold easily, they build you up emotionally and mentally. But when you're dealing with American citizens, your own people, it makes things a lot harder because a lot of these dudes did not want to be there. They're on assignment. And I'm sure that they were saying among themselves, like, I really don't want to go against citizens of our own country. But once they endure this, they're going to become like law enforcement. They're going to become desensitized to killing black people because of nonsense like this. Now, some people may say, well, it's freedom of speech. He's only in his face. But yet, you don't get in somebody's space, man. There's a certain distance you keep, man. But these dudes are provoking the National Guard. Their hands are tied right now. And it's like a pit bull that's chained up in a backyard or behind a fence. And every time you come by that fence, you have to rattle that fence and get him going because you know that he's chained up. He can't get loose. Well, one day you see that dog walking and that chain dragging behind him. And the dog has a very sharp memory. And he remembers what you did when you were throwing things at him, when he was chained up, or you were hitting that fence, you know, getting him riled up, provoking him. And then you wonder why he bites you behind. Well, that's the same thing that we see happening here, and the same thing we see happening with law enforcement, where it's so easy for them to gun you down without second thought. See, and like I said, what they're doing, he already endured that in basic training. He was already yelled at, you know, and these dudes are talking about, you know, he can't do nothing because unless Chief tells him. Well, the only reason why they have that authority, I'm going to call it authority, and get in this dude's face is because the Democrats, their chief, allowed them to do it. Or whoever funding this whole Antifa movement. George Soros, and I think there's somebody else that's funding that as well. But right now they're doing an investigation to find out about that paper trail. You know, who's funding this, all right? So he's only allowed to do that because his chief told him he can do it. See, but the only thing he's doing right here is turning another man bitter against black people. See, people talk about me on YouTube, and you got people that talk about Tommy Sotomayor and brothers like us. But this is why we have our thoughts. Because of nonsense like this. And there's brothers on Facebook that used to come against me for my thoughts and views regarding black folk. Now they become like me because they've experienced something or they see you for who you really are, right? So this is really sad right here. I'm going to rewind this and play it again, man. I want your guys to see this, man. Look at it, man. Look at what they're doing to this dude, man. And the National Guard is just standing there. They're not doing anything to anyone. But yet they're targeted by Black Lives Matter and Antifa that's being funded by the Democrats. This is what the Democrats is doing to their own military and law enforcement. And for too long, they're going to start talking about defund the military. But I'm going to play it again. Check it out.
You won't even respond. Back in the day, somebody getting this close to your face, you going for that? Okay. Yeah. That's basically what you stop breathing. You got hands together. You want to get peace. You want to punch me right now, don't you? You want me to get out your face, don't you? But you can't do shit. You can't do shit until Chief tell you. Your daddy tell you. Your dad tell you. Your daddy tell you to do something. Daddy. He said, take your clip out your gun because you can't do shit. You took it out. Listen, they said, put them off on the first. Man, listen like no target. That's what you listen like. Bitch, bro. You listen to words everybody else say. You don't even think of your damn self. You don't even.
Sad. So feedback. Tell me what you think. Till next time. I'm fearless.